Are you among those who love carving out moments of solitude, or do you know some people who love doing it? And have you ever felt judged or criticized for this? Have you ever had the experience of being labeled weird simply because you love spending time with yourself? In this video, thanks to a Zen story, we will see the 10 character traits of people who love being alone. And in doing so, we will understand if these people have a problem or, on the contrary, they are special and have above average qualities. So stay until the end because only after listening to all 10 distinctive traits of solitary people will you understand exactly what the true essence of those who love solitude is. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to stay updated on the publication of new content for your spiritual growth. In an ancient Buddhist temple lived the elderly and wise monk Naoki, famous for his extreme wisdom and ability to help those in search of inner peace and emotional well-being. One day, a young man named Hiro approached the monk to ask him the problem that was worrying him. "Master Naoki," he asked, "I have always loved being alone, even though I don't consider myself a loner. This, however, exposes me to criticism every day and causes people to distance themselves from me. Today, with your help, I would like to understand if my choice to be alone is really that bad." Naoki smiled and invited the young man to sit next to him. "Hiro, loneliness is never bad in itself," said the monk. "In fact, people who love being alone are often special." Being alone, Naoki continued, does not necessarily mean being a loner or not wanting to have friends. Many people prefer to have a select circle of friends, but also have time for themselves. Know that being alone, even, is something necessary for our well-being. Learning to enjoy solitude pushes us to love ourselves more and lead us towards the achievement of our goals. Except that, nowadays we live in such a fast-paced and interconnected society that people who love to experience moments for themselves are often seen as abnormal. But who are the people who love and know how to feel good alone? The monk asked rhetorically. To understand this well, he added, I will list 10 characteristics of those who know how to fully enjoy their solitude. The young man, faced with these first words from the monk, began to feel heartened and prepare to listen to him very carefully. People who enjoy solitude, Naoki began, have more open and more creative minds than average. In most cases, they are curious and adventurous people who always love trying something new or doing different activities. The fact that they love solitude does not necessarily label them as rigid and conservative people. Indeed, a more open mentality allows them to have more flexible ideas and therefore to adapt more easily to the evolving world in which we live. Moving on to the second characteristic, the monk underlined how lonely people, although it may seem counterintuitive, appreciate friendships more than others. People who like to be alone aren't necessarily loners, Naoki said. They tend to have more select friends with whom they feel comfortable and with whom they can talk about anything. These people don't feel the need to have many new people in their lives. They want few but good ones. This is also because very often they may need more time to open up and be spontaneous. But once they overcome this barrier, they are very loyal, as they care about cultivating deep connections. Additionally, they find it easy to keep secrets because they value personal privacy. And they also respect the boundaries between themselves and others because they value individuality. Simply put, they know when to step back so others have their space. Do you know a garden cared for with love by a passionate gardener? The monk asked the young man. Here, like a garden cared for with love, the friendships of those who love being alone are rare gems, the fruits of careful selection. Solitude becomes the soil in which to cultivate authentic bonds. like flowers that bloom slowly, requiring time and dedication to grow. And these flowers are also the most resistant and long-lasting. While young hero began to feel more and more relieved as he saw certain characteristics in himself, realizing that they were not defects, the elderly monk introduced the third characteristic: courage. Lonely people, in most cases, are courageous people who are used to facing their fears, problems, and weaknesses directly, which is a sign of strength. And because they are always in intimate contact with themselves, it is easier for them to find the balance necessary to face life's adversities. They are more resistant, more resilient. People who like to be alone, the monk continued, speaking of the fourth distinctive trait, tend to manage daily activities more effectively. They know that time is precious, that it must be used well. This is why they try to dedicate themselves to what they love, trying not to waste time on irrelevant things. In the quiet of solitude, they dedicate themselves carefully to daily activities, avoiding wasting energy on irrelevant things. And silence becomes the number one ally of their concentration, transforming these people into masters of productivity. The fifth aspect that makes these people special is greater self-awareness. When you are alone, it is easier to stop and observe and reflect, because you shift your attention from the outside to the inside, said the master. These people therefore have a higher level of awareness and knowledge about themselves. They are generally more aware of their strengths and weaknesses, and are therefore more likely to achieve their goals. Being alone, in essence, gives them the opportunity to think hard about life, to define the paths they want to take, and to focus on what really matters. The sixth aspect on which Naoki focused was that linked to empathy. Precisely because they dedicate more time to observation and introspection, continued the monk, these people are more able to understand what is happening to others. Furthermore, which is very positive and worthy of respect, they tend not to judge other people and therefore tend to be quite empathetic. They appreciate inner beauty and not just physical appearance. They are more attentive to the behavior of others and know when something is not right. Another aspect that makes these people special is that they are generally not afraid of rejection. They are confident in themselves and don't seek constant approval from others, Naoki said. These people know that they can be happy on their own. They don't owe anything to anyone, and for this reason they are not afraid of being rejected. They also tend to be surrounded by few but good friends and family, who support them and provide them with a solid foundation of love. Many of these people, precisely because they are happy with their time and their situation, have learned to say no when necessary, are very faithful to their values, and never do or say something just to please others.
And as we continue with the story, we ask you to leave a comment with what you think on the topic so that we can discuss together. Also, if you like the video, like and share it. You will help us produce new content every day.
Naoki, happy to see the satisfaction on the face of his young disciple, continued with the eighth distinctive trait of the loners. These people, he said, are more independent and more confident than the average person we know. Imagine people who love being alone as architects of their own existence. They build their existence with stones of authenticity and bricks of security, forming a fortress of independence. However, it is important to emphasize that this independence does not exclude human connections. It does not mean being antisocial at all. Instead, it provides a platform from which relationships can flourish more healthily. These architects of their own existence understand the importance of human relationships much more than others do. They select very carefully the family members and close friends with whom they want to have relationships, recognizing that the strength of connections lies in quality, not quantity. In summary, independence for those who love to be alone is like a carefully designed construction. It is a work of art in which every choice reflects self-awareness, ensuring an authentic, safe, and rewarding life. The ninth aspect on which Naoki focused was the one linked to the ability to be reflective and to possess greater internal balance. Loners, he said, are more thoughtful and have greater inner balance. Imagine solitude as a body of crystal clear water where every thought, emotion, and reflection is clearly reflected. For those who love being alone, this quiet represents a precious ally for maintaining internal balance. It is like a constant flame that burns in the darkness, offering a guiding light even in the darkest nights of life. And remember that people who appreciate solitude, continued the monk, looking into the eyes of young Hero, are more authentic than average. In a society where everyone tends to conform, being equal to each other, those who love being alone emerge as a shining star that lights up the sky with their own light. Solitude, experienced with authenticity, becomes an opportunity to be yourself without compromise. Like a star that shines brightly, those who love being alone don't let themselves be overshadowed by other people's opinions or social expectations. Their authenticity is a lighthouse that guides the inner journey, illuminating the path towards personal truth. But what is the moral of this story? That feeling good alone does not necessarily mean being solitary or antisocial, and that in our society, we tend to give too much value and space to social relationships, whether virtual or physical, taking away space from the time that is right for us to dedicate themselves.